Thanks for having me here today. I appreciate it. Promise this is not going to be any sermon at all. But I really like your theme for this week, getting ready to serve. Serving comes in many ways, many different ways. There's the short-term and the long-term service projects that you might go out of the country on, but you might stay in the country. You can serve in your church, your schools, at home. A lot of people don't think about serving at home, but they can. Might be just helping somebody at Walmart get through the line, helping with their bags or anything. You always need to be, I like to say, be looking for a place to serve. Serve unselfishly, not looking for rewards or pats on the back, and not worried about what you're going to do, where you're serving at. The Lord's going to lead you in that way and what to do. One of my favorite little, I call it a little thingy, little hoodie thing. Oh, where's the words on the screen? It was up there when you came in. One of my favorite little things that I found quite a few years ago, and I actually carry it in my car. Any of you that have been in my little Subaru with the boys, they probably have seen it. It's running the gear shift. Start where you are in serving the Lord. Claim His sure promise and trust in His word. God simply asks us to do what we can. He'll use us. He'll use our efforts to further His plan. And the biggest thing I want to stress there is we got to start. We got to make that effort to serve. And if we do that, Joshua 1:9 tells us, have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. If we start, the promise our Lord has given us, He's going to be with us. He's going to protect us and take care of us. So with that said, I told you I'm not going to preach. That's my little spiel there. We're going to go on to some pictures that you can go ahead, Tobin, and start the pictures. I had to throw one in there, the boys. Quite a few years ago. I don't know if they think they're going to stop this train or what they thought they were doing, but anyway. Like Caleb said, I went to Nicaragua this winter. I've been there several times. You can go ahead, Tobin, to the next picture. And for some reason, the click-throughs, just clicking the pictures aren't working, so Tobin's going to help me out here. Every time I went down there, I worked on a construction project building a church. And this project here was done by many hands. The walls, when we got there, were already up. Thank goodness. That's a lot of hard work laying block and mix and smack. Then we've done that. But we had to tear the old church down, and that's the wood structure in the middle. We had to tear that down, salvage all the lumber we could, and use it for the roof. So you can go ahead, Tobin. We couldn't drive to our job site. There just was no physical way to get trucks down there. We had to carry everything by hand down this little dirt path with water, dirty water from houses, sinks, baths, whatever, running down the dirt path. Houses on either side. You can keep going, Tobin. And fortunately, all the kids in the area, some of the ladies, they helped carry all the lumber, the rock, the supplies, our tools. You can keep going, Tobin. Nope. You got to keep going across. Oh, yeah, you were right. Sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, ladies were carrying stuff down. Go ahead. Kind of go through some of these fairly fast. That little feller there, our lumber here, a 2x4 is actually 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches. It's dried pine. It's pretty light. Down there, that's green wood. It's a full 2x4 inches, and them boards are heavy. He don't look like he's struggling, but that was about all he could handle carrying that down there. Go ahead. Again, like I said, we salvaged all the lumber we could. We had to buy some. We had to make our beams, and this roof was just not a normal pitched roof. It was just a flat, sloped roof. So we laminated boards together, nailed them together, and put them up for beams. You go ahead. Typical site down there, I realize this isn't part of the construction project, but those people have nothing. They don't have a wash machine or a dryer. They do it outside on a little sink, and they hang their clothes on a clothesline. And their clothesline is nothing more than a barbed wire fence. You can imagine hanging your clothes on a barbed wire fence. Just some shots of the area as we walk down into the job site. These are houses, and there's always dogs everywhere. More pictures of the front of the church. This was definitely a bigger church than we're used to working on, and I don't have any idea how many crews ahead of us were there to get it built to the point where we got to. Whoops. Another one's over there. And Spud, for those of you that don't know it, I've always called Caleb Spud. Just don't repeat that though. Yeah, number 20. So yeah, as we kept going through the day, through the week that we were there, the structure went up more times than I can remember. The local Nica people, the pastor that was there, told us, I'm amazed how fast you guys work. It would take us months to do what you guys did in 3 days. I don't know why that is. They just can't communicate, can't figure out what they want to do. It takes them a while. Putting on the steel roof. The other thing we do when we go down there on these short-term missions, we're responsible to get there, our flights. We're responsible for in-country travel, food, lodging, as well as we're responsible to buy all the materials while we're there. These people where we're working have nothing and they can't afford it. But we're there to help. Our churches definitely help us out, help defray that cost greatly. Go ahead. Just more pictures of the inside of the church. I know it's nothing like we think of a church around here. A lot of times the floor remains dirt. In this case, we did cement the floor. It's not done yet, but you'll see that to come. We keep going. We had to put the roof on. We had to build the doors, the windows. The windows are not glass windows. They're just wood shutters. A way of locking up the building so people can't get in and steal things. Kids will be kids anywhere you go. This was really rewarding to see one evening when we got done. We took a little bit of a different trip back home, or back into town where we were staying. Surrounding this little flat area, which there's very few flat areas, is just shacks for houses. These kids are out there having fun, doing their thing, playing soccer. When I say shacks for houses, this was their houses. And that soccer field was right near this. We built the church. You can't see it from here, but it's down over the valley. They call these squatters. They come in, they build a house of whatever they can, and that's how they live. Just a close-up of the houses. You can see a lot of these are nothing more than black plastic with sticks and some metal that they scrounged to put up. Obviously, there'll be all dirt floors on the outside areas. Is their bathroom. Just a hole in the ground is basically what it is. Yeah, a little cute girl. This was the pastor's daughter. In the church we were building, she came with me one day. I imagine that's the best dress she's got. I'm not sure why she dressed her up like that for a construction day, but she sat on that chair all day long and watched us. It's a sweetheart. Like I said earlier, we couldn't drive to the job site, and when you have cement you need to mix, it's all gravel, it's cement mix and sand. It's heavy and it's hard work. And we thought, oh man, how are we going to get that down there? How are we going to get 2 tons of gravel, 2 tons of sand, sand, and the 90-pound bags of cement down there? We did carry the cement bags. These little kids couldn't do that. But kids from 5 to maybe 14 years old carried all the gravel and all the sand down there in a relatively short period of time in these little plastic bags, these bags that they pick coffee beans in. You can go ahead. There'll be several shots of these you can go through as you wish. Just continue to go through them. They made a game of it. And in a really short period of time, they had all that stuff carried down there for us that we could go ahead and mix it up. We put it in piles and just took off after another one. And I'm thinking, man, would our kids at home do this for enjoyment? That was their fun for the day, helping us. Their moms, their dads were gone. They were there alone all day long. Truck coming up to dump the stuff off, and somebody was there to scoop it up in the bag, and away they go again. This was the picture of the kids that helped. And what I want to point out here is you've seen the houses that they live in, you've seen the church we were building, and you see the kids there that they were just there by themselves all day long. Their parents weren't around. When I tell people at work, they were interested in what I'm doing, and they wanted to see pictures, and I showed them. And they said, why are you wasting your time building a church? They need houses. Can't you see that they need a house? Why would you build them a house? This is coming from people that really probably don't have a very strong Christian background and upbringing. That's true. We could have built them a house and not a church, but what would have gained them? They wouldn't have, how do I want to say this? If we build a church and we get these kids, in specific, the boys, coming to that church, being involved, building it, it changes their way of thinking. It teaches them there's another way of life. If we can get them to see that, accept the Lord, and know that He'll take care of them, it has changed their whole mindset for generations to come. It's just a spider web, because then they go out, they start their own family, they continue going to church, they better their life, and they help themselves. It's kind of like you can feed a man and he's hungry the next day. You can teach him to fish and he can feed his family for life. It's that mindset. The other thing I want to point out that is helping, and we're seeing that from the years that we've been down there. Say that tall kid in the back, he's probably 14, so he's not real old yet. But what happens is, like I said, the parents are gone all day long, and just for lack of better words, a young buck comes along, and he comes cruising down the streets and finds these girls at home alone. They're seeking affection, they're seeking attention. Next thing that happens, they end up pregnant, and the cycle just goes on. So what we're trying to do by building a church and getting him started in that church is breaking that cycle. You go ahead. Just mixing cement there. We put it on the ground. We mix the sand, the gravel, the cement mix up, scoop it up, put water in it. You go ahead. And then right where it's at, we spread it out, trowel it, and that's where you're at. What we wouldn't give for a cement mixer. Uh-oh. Another one slipped in there. Timothy, are you here today? Found that in some old baseball pictures. Like I said, we're making doors to go to church. We put a wall down the middle of this church. This particular one is big enough that pastor and his wife will actually, their house will be on the opposite side of this wall, so they'll live right inside that building. This is the pastor, and just the appreciation they show for us when we come down there. They're just overwhelmed. They can't imagine having anything this nice for them. Yeah. Oh, their electrical system down there. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Go ahead. Another shot of the electrical system. One of my jobs when I first got there on this job site to start I was supposed to unhook the electrical system, the electricity coming into that church. There was literally no breakers, no knife switch. You couldn't shut it off. Everything was done live. And what they'll do is they'll skinny up a pole, they'll skin the wire back, wrap bare wire around it, and run it into their building. And that made life interesting. I'm still here, so we're okay. You can go ahead. These next couple shots, real quick. This was a real rewarding project about 2 years ago. I was down on. This is out in mountainous country where we built the church. The pictures you've seen were in town. There was nothing here. They were staying in going to church in a little shack of a house. The coffee plantation owner we know said, hey, I see a need for a church out here in the country. And so we went down and we built this thing from ground up in a week. We did not get the roof on, but we had the trusses made, everything there when we had to leave, and they finished it up. When we built this church, there was 8 people going to it. 8 moms and a couple kids, and that was it. Now, we had the opportunity to swing by this on this trip and see it complete and talk to the locals, the pastor's wife. There's 35 families going to this church now. That's changing a mindset. That's wanting them to help us. This was a beautiful setting overlooking the valley. What was really rewarding to me is we couldn't get in this building. The pastor had it locked up. He was gone. But we could peer through the cracks in the door. And in the front of the church, right behind the pulpit, there was a great big sign that they had made. And it said something to the effect of, with God and the help of these hands, built this church. And every one of our names were on that list that helped build that church. That was really rewarding to see. Go ahead. This was the view from out the backside of the church. It was just amazing. You just wanted to stand in awe sometimes. Go ahead. I know this is a picture of me, but what I want you to see is the goats in the background. And you go ahead. The last day we were there building this church, they wanted to do something special for us. They were so appreciative of the work we'd done. At noon, while we were eating lunch, one of the young fellows went out, broke the goat just like this. Go ahead. And they said, we're going to feed you supper tonight. That's what we had for supper. I'm telling you, I'm a steak guy. With that goat, it was actually very, very good that night. The way they barbecued it over the fire, the seasonings they had on it, it was excellent. And you know, that was giving something of theirs back to us. And what we were told by some of the coffee plantation owner, he said, you don't see that very often. They really wanted to give back to us. Go ahead. This doesn't, you can kind of see them. This is their cows down there. And I said, I like steak better than goat. The steaks come from these cows, and they are tough. I've tried it before. You really don't want a steak down there. So anyway, I think, is that the last slide? Yeah, that's the last slide. I'm going to go back to that. So my main point is, you got to start somewhere. Seek that opportunity and go for it. I know a lot of you guys are going to be taking off and you're planning to go to college. I guess I want to encourage you, if you're not quite sure what you want to do, look at a short-term mission. Look at a year's worth of service somewhere. How you mature, how you grow up on them trips, the people you meet, you'll never forget. I know it's a financial deal to get the money to go, but I can guarantee you if you go to your pastors, if you go to your elders, your community people and say, this is what I want to do, I feel a calling to do this, the money's going to come in for you to support you. That's all I have. A couple of minutes, I think, maybe, but I'll take a few questions if you want. If you got any questions, don't be shy.
Did you have to take your own tools then?
Great question, Mary. We did take some down. We have a place in Managua. We call it the guest house, where we always stay when we come into Managua and where we always stay when we leave the night before. The owners of that have set aside a closet that they lock up, and we leave all our tools there. Battery-operated DeWalt stuff, skill saws, etc. One quick story I want to share with that tools. You got to have a skill saw. You guys all know what a skill saw is, handheld, powered saw to cut boards. Or put a blade in it, cut blocks. We got down there, we got ready to leave. We found out the skill saw was bad, it was burned up. What are we going to do? PR and I went to a local hardware shop. You guys all know PR, I think, Charles, Spencer's dad. We went to a local hardware shop to buy a skill saw. We found one, we bought the heavy-dutyest skill saw we could find. It was made in Mexico, called Trooper brand. The guy guaranteed us, he said it'll be one of the best saws he ever got. And it was, it worked good. It cost us $200. 200 American dollars. In the States, it would have maybe been $80, $90. What's funny is 2 days before I left to go to Nicaragua, I was up in the hospital on a department, and I don't know why I mentioned to them, I'm getting out of here, I'm going to go where it's warm. They wouldn't know what I was doing, I told them. And they thought, man, this is great. We support you in that, that's awesome. And they said, do you need any money? And I said, no, we got our funds already raised, thanks, you don't have to do that. No, she said, we want to. We got a little bonus back for what we do in the barometric chamber, oxygen pressure things, and we want to give it to somebody. You come back tomorrow before you leave, and I'm going to give you some money. How many dollars do you think she gave me? $200. God is good all the time. Caleb, you have a question?
I was asking, who did you go with?
Great question. From here, it was just PR and I, but we've worked multiple times with some groups from out east. The biggest share of the group that went, and kind of the guy that led the group was from Delaware. There was guys from Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and Iowa. And we knew most of them just from other trips we've been down to and worked on. We really look forward to going back and seeing each other. Any other questions? How long is chapel supposed to be open? Now? Okay. If not, I'm going to just close up with a short prayer. Lord, I just thank you for this school, for these students, for the faculty and staff. Lord, I pray that they all look to serve you and to honor you, and that they all know that you are there always to protect them and to guide them. They just need to seek your will. Lord, bless them as they go about the rest of this day. In your name we pray. Amen. Thanks.